Hello Marvel Heroes fans, this is Rocket Raccoon Summoner build versus Curse round 1. Like I always do, I would create a few video on a few takes on how Rocket Raccoon plays like in Summoner build and see whether he's your cup of tea. And on the second part of the video, I would talk a little bit about his build as well and how I built him as a summoner. So far, this run is doing quite well, in fact, because the pets are tanking the curse quite well. Just that it looks pretty messy right now here because it is quite overwhelming due to the number of pets that they have. Okay, so and also, it is rather unpredictable, as in where curse will be flying or charging. So I need to stay alive here. But I mean, his kill time is not really that fantastic. But I find that Rocket Raccoon is extremely fun to play, and I guess sometimes it matters when it comes to a game like this. He has all these turrets as his summon or pets. He also have all these various pets as well. Groot as his friend. So very much is about laying out the summons. And I'm going to take another build. Another tick again. So Curse versus Rocket Raccoon, tick 2, and okay. So nothing too memorable right now. It's just that okay, so I have to be very careful on this Curse thingy because he hurt pretty bad on Raccoon. Raccoon is not really a very durable hero, but he has a lot of pets to mitigate all this problem. Okay, so this run is probably not as good as the other one because it's kind of like there's a lot of distraction right now of the power cosmic is kind of hard on Raccoon. I have to make sure that he's not taking too much of those damage around, so that's why I have to run quite a fair bit. Oops. Yeah, he has a tendency to jump onto the hero, although there are like I don't know, tons of pets around, and he just doesn't jump onto them. So I have to kind of like go stealth at the right timing. But yeah, I got him. I think it's rather, I mean, if you don't really push for time for kill or kill time too hard, it's actually quite a relaxed journey playing Raccoon, because a lot of time you have all these summons, all these pets that helps, and all these little random summon that come from all your gears and so on. And all you need to do for Raccoon is to lay down the damage over time, which is something like this. It is the launcher, the plasma launcher. Also, I also add Gravity Mine as well, just 1 pawn there, to give the vulnerability debuff, which give 10% extra damage. It is good. It is good, especially for solo. But if you are doing something like raid, then yeah, I mean, someone else may have applied the vulnerability. You don't need to waste your spirit on that one. And okay, I'm going to do one final tick, and this tick I'll just bring up this ultimate, let you see how that plays like. So this is Rocket Raccoon versus Cosmic Curse round 3 summoner build. And what I need to do, just stealth in, lay down all the turret and so on, then apply the buff, apply the AoE, then I do the signature, try to stay alive, and that's about it. And if I have time, I just make sure the Groot is there to do his job, and I can direct Groot to hit him quite hard, and that is a good thing to do. But that's only when you have time to do other things. And and he does move a lot, so you just have to keep constantly applying the so-called the damage over time. And let's do the ultimate. And ultimate look like this. It's a mat, and for summoner, it is there's one particular ability for summoner, while the other one is more for gunner. So like this one is area has summon kind of tag to it, while the other one I think it's a single target ranging gun. So it depends on whether you are a summoner or gunner, and that will probably decide on what you want to do with your ultimate. But yeah, I mean, he is by and large a very nice hero to play, and not particularly strong. His gearing options and gearing strategy is a lot different from other builds. So I mean other heroes. So that's why I enjoy playing him, because he does play like different heroes. So I just want to at least show you a little bit about what is a non-boss fight like. Non-boss fight is really much like about delving in, putting in all the AOE layer and so on. I mean, he hardly get hit. You can see there's so many pets around. There's really no chance for anybody to hit him hard. So I just put in the turret, put in. So yeah, grab in mind. Then if I have time, I just do a signature there, signature. Signature is like a nuclear warhead kind of thing. And yeah. Yeah, I just want to finish him off and just show you. And yeah, I mean, by and large, this is what Rocket Raccoon plays like in a Cosmic Terminal. He hardly get any damage at all if you play him right, and his pets are really strong and does all the things that you need. So what do you need to gear him for Rocket Raccoon? So Rocket Raccoon is the only one true summoner in this game. So what it means is that your gearing strategy is totally different from any other heroes that you have played. He's the main stat that you should go for is the summon ally damage, which is this one here. I'm going for 439%. So that because majority of the damage output come from the pet. A lot of time Rocket Raccoon stay at the back seat. So for a summoner build at least, stay in the back seat, and the play style is really different about strategy thinking. It's not too much about just frontal damage all the time. It's about thinking where you lay your turrets, where you position Groot, where should you do all, when do you do all these things that you do. So it's a different thing. It's like you are the commander sitting behind the behind the seat and issuing command to all your pets and ally to do the damage. So summon ally damage is what you should go for to get there. There are gears that help you with that, and there are things like there are gear that help you with that. There are Omega system that help you with that. So it's something that you should go for. And again, I forgot to put on my pet. Wonderful. Sometimes I have to ask myself why I keep missing my pet. The second stat that is really useful is a crit rating, the crit strike rating. So I have about 53.5%, which is very respectable for any heroes. But not many stats are transferred from heroes to the pet. So you must understand that things like damage rating, things like crit damage rating, those will never go into a pet. The pet has a very fixed kind of rules, like cap at a certain percentage. So there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing to fight it. So so crit is something that you go for. It tells you that you and your summon ally attacks have a chance to crit hit the enemy. I suppose a brutal as well, because brutal in fact is nothing but it's a booster crit. So so I would say use the brutal to open up your crit as well, because I do see pet do they do brutal strike. So I presume that they take the stats from somewhere. It's from hero. So in fact, from the offensive point of view, these are the various stats that goes into the pet. Crit that share among the hero and the pet, and brutal that share from the hero and the pet. Summon ally damage that go into the pet, but the damage rating, everything else go into the hero. So but of course, things like defense is shared between the hero and the pet, health shared between the hero and the pet. So with that in mind, then that whatever you do in terms of gearing, in terms of trade-off and so on, you must always think that am I taking a stats that's benefiting both my hero and pet, or just affecting my hero. So very important to remember that only summon ally damage that go into the pet, crit and brutal that rating strike that go into pet, not the damage. None of damage go into pet, right? So just remember that really carefully. So with that in mind, I mean, from a gearing point of view, you probably want to look into things like, like the artifact strategy is totally different from any others that you may have, or rather different, I would say. Summon Ember damage. This is the artifact from the event vendor that you get from the from doing the armor event, and it gives you about 44-45% summon ally damage, which is really good. Raptor stone that a lot of people are farming for Raccoon or for any summoner, it gives you, I think, up to 30% summon ally damage, and that's really good as well. And for Medallion, Mr. Sinister or Man-Ape, but I prefer Mr. Sinister because it has more relevant. Because if my hero is geared towards that direction, meaning that my pets are dealing all the damage, then 20-30% is is good. But I still need to find a better Medallion for that because I want to hit the 30% as well as the chance to summon Colossus or whatnot to 2%. But those are not that important. I don't really see them around that often. And then the Regalia is the one that I gear for because it gives me the summon ally damage quite a fair bit as well. And last but not the least is the Metasensory because I have Metasensory over all my heroes mostly, and this is good because all the +1 helps the pet, help the hero as well. For the Euroforge, I very much like focus on things like I have two for Euroforge, by the way. If I'm running Cosmic Terminal, I prefer Beastmaster because it gives my pets more boost to the power. I don't really need the crit because I'm hitting the diminishing return. But if I'm doing raid and so on, I probably would want to have a River of the Soul because if the spirit become an issue, and it will be, then there's no point in you have to seek a balance somehow. But I haven't really gone to that. I mean, I've gone to raid, but I always raid with River of the Soul. I haven't tried to raid using Beastmaster. Maybe I should. In terms of legendary, is Trident. It is basically built for summoner. It's no brainer on that. And as far as the Cosmic Rain, I choose Health and Brutal as well. Have Brutal in it. If you take a look at all his gearing strategy, because crit is already hitting diminishing return. There's nothing else I can do really. None of the damage rating makes sense to the pet. So I need to find a way to boost my Brutal, to open up my Brutal, because I can't have Hela, my Blessing Afriga, because it gives me even more summon ally damage, and I need the Spirit as well because I use a lot of Spirit for that. And by the way, if I have to use my pet, then my Spirit has gone up to 704. So always remember to equip your pet when you switch hero. As I was saying, that it is Brutal Strike rating that I need to really work towards, and that shows in my gearing in terms of the insignia as well as the ring as well, because these are the only few area whereby you can work towards the Brutal Strike. Then as for the costume, very interesting. Nothing like the rest of the hero, which is always on crit damage rating. It is basically on crit hit. I may consider changing his core because I really would like to have a 25-25. Sorry, they call it 25-25, but in the new world, it's more of like a health and spirit regen upon medkit use, because that will help me recover my spirit, which is very important. The reason why I still stick with the +1 fighting, which is from an old core I use when I use a Gundam build, is that I want the Brutal, and the only where that I can get Brutal is either through Omega system or through the fighting. So my fighting is about, if you look at my fighting, is with 10 fighting, I've got +600 Brutal Strike rating, which is pretty alright. This helps in boosting the Brutal Strike end of it. Now, but when it comes to attribute, the primary attribute that you should go for is intelligence, because that gives you quite a lot of stuff you can read it yourself. But the most important thing is that it opens up crit that go into pet. Also, it gives you the summon ally damage, which is what you are after. So when it comes to attribute decision trade-off, always intelligence, but also bear in mind that sometimes you want a more balanced build. You want to benefit your hero as well in some sense, not just keep pushing for the pet to do the work. In terms of unit, I choose all the unit for the summoner. I think Raccoon has close to 2 set of unit. So one is more for summoner, one is for gunner. I picked the unit for the summoner for obvious reason, because that is where all this summoner pet related stats comes into picture. So in terms of build itself, the build itself is pretty straightforward. Like I mentioned to you, I use the plasma launcher as the damage over time. It click twice per second, 10-11k, which is decent, and that is the only damage over time layer I have. Besides all the pet that have been doing all the job passively. Then I use a minigun as the as the main spender because it does the 40% damage to elite and bosses, which is really good. So that is something that you want to add on to DOT. On top of your pets. Then Galactic Guardian is where all your pets power comes in the picture. Groot is, it tends for you, and also remember to put him on the hotbar as well, because you can ask him to charge every 5 seconds. Although it costs a spirit, but his charge does give quite a lot of damage, and I think it should be an area thing. So it roll into the ball and roll into the mob, and then does a big damage there. The only thing is the animation part of it, because if you leave Groot to do his job, he hits every time is close to 100k. But if you ask him to roll, he actually does, like, he pause and then he roll and then he hit. Between that, he could have hit like 1 or 2 times already. So I think net, whether you leave him alone or whether you ask him to roll, to me, I think it's the same thing. But sometimes you want to redirect him from a mob to a boss, so it's an option for you to do that. Or you see a whole group of things, you want to just ram into it, and that works too. So it's something that you play around with it, and you probably get what I mean about the whole animation thing versus the trade-off. Then the blaster turret is a single target one that I use. Is very useful, although it looks very tiny, the damage, but it hit quite fast, and also there are 4 of them, so they all add up, so it's about 45k, but it hit quite fast. This one is yet another damage over time layer that does a little bit of stun as well, I believe. Then I mentioned that I have Gravity Mine, which is 1 point in it, just apply vulnerability, 10% across the damage. I'll take it. And then this one is for me to get out from any crowd control kind of mechanic, and also it gives me a dodge rating plus the dexterity. Dexterity is here that gives me the dodge rating as well as project deflection chance. Not necessarily required for Rocket Raccoon, but why not? It's there. This one is the combat shield that you see the whole thing here. That as Raccoon take damage, this one will deplete. So if it deplete to 0, it take a lot more damage because it helps you negate things. So my suggestion is that you can either it regen quite fast as well. Leave it be, just stealth out, take the hit off the battle, and let the pet does its job, or you can just use this one to replenish all your shield, your options. I put it on the F key. I like 1 point on Rocket Flight because it helps me for farm cosmic. It fly through things quite fast. Burrow, you don't need to put any point to it. One of your unit already give you the Burrow, 34 rank Burrow, so it's really good. It keep you in stealth for 9.3 seconds. I mean, you really can drop all the aggro, recuperate yourself, and go back to battle again. Truly some strategy, just think behind the scene. This one is for his passive, which give you the crit and brutal strike rating. No brainer, take all. But the good thing about this one is that it gives you the spirit restoration, and when you pick up an orb, so when environment whereby there's a lot of orbs around, you can keep taking orbs and keep replenishing your spirit. But it's just that when doing a single target, like those sustained fight like Doom and so on, you don't really, you may run out of spirit eventually. So it's good to have a second hotbar in place to have the basic comes in the picture if that comes on board. Last but not the least, but the Fleet Slayer is the signature. No brainer. I think they changed this a few times. Last time I believe they used to have a buff to the gun, the gun's power, but now they just you can activate it up to 4 times. So last time the strategy is spaced out a little bit, but now you just dump everything into the whole mob or boss. Then you have the 2 options here: either go for assault specialization or battery specialization. For summoner it's battery, so no brainer. So that's the power tree. In terms of Omega tree, I'll just walk through really fast because I always talk about Omega tree and it takes forever to do it. I don't invest anything in this now, even not in spin tap, because majority of the damage comes from a pet, so no point. The hero does more damage to boss, but how much? This one is it's not effective. Nothing here as well. Here is quite a lot of interesting stuff. I go for this one because it gives me the summon ally damage, and I go for this one also summon ally damage. Now why is it 3 not 20? Because I find it really too expensive to go deep. I have another video on the cost escalation, how many points to invest based on the cost escalation, and it just failed big time on my criteria on even go to the 20%. If I want the 20%, I have to pay a lot more, which I don't think is reasonable. This one is nice. When I hit my summon ally gain, chance, so on and so forth. Again, I put 6 instead of 10, and ultimately I wanted to work towards this +6 intelligence, which I have. This is good stuff. Then I'm also working towards this one. It's kind of interesting because I have spare Omega point anyway. So I will forego my durability and strength, but I gain intelligence and energy, the 2 stats that's relevant to me. It is about 300 points for 2 of those attribute that, usually it's about 200 points per attribute, that's the budget. So for 150 points per attribute is good, but having said that, +1 intelligence is to the pet, +1 energy is to the hero. So again, it's split between heroes, so I'm still on the fence on this one. This one is the interesting part. I put 7 on this guy and 7 on this guy because I think that's where this give me the summon ally damage, and this really give me the brutal strike that I mentioned that I really need the brutal strike. Then again, guild suppression is for my brutal strike. That by now it should be familiar which other nodes to go for. And then that's it. Oh yeah, this is really good. The squad assault weaponry give me the summon ally damage. The cost is very low as well in terms of escalation. It's worth it to pick them all for summoner. Here I don't really put anything much here except this one that give me the brutal strike and the help. The brutal strike rating as well as the brutal damage. Not that important to me, but brutal strike is. So yeah, but that is all I have for Rocket Raccoon, and I hope you give him a try. He's not the strongest hero in game, but he's definitely very fun to play, very fun to gear as well, because it's so different from the rest of the hero that we have in Marvel Heroes today. Alright, enjoy, bye.